one stacker on a journey to find silver. International Stacker.
What is up, guys? International Stacker here. Playing around with a bunch of Morgans. That's right, I am on a silver vacation. Anyways, I wanted to cover with you guys my 5 top mistakes. This is the 5 top mistakes and even pitfalls of stacking. So here we go. 1, buy the deals. Now, when I first got into stacking, guys, I wanted Morgans, and you see all these Morgans. Right here you see over 413 Morgans. Now, when I first got into stacking, I was not stacking as hard as I am now, and things changed for me financially, which enabled me to go harder. So what ended up happening is I wanted Morgans, but I didn't want to pay 20, 25 bucks for them. So I bought some Cull Morgans, C-U-L-L, which means they're worn. Eventually, I ended up finding deals where I could buy Morgans pre-1900 and even 1921s for between $16 to $18 a piece, just some private buys that came my way and some deals. Also some deals online I picked up as well. So if I had been patient, I wouldn't be sitting on probably 20, 30 Cull Morgans. Instead, I'd have some other type of silver and I'd still have these nice Morgans in great shape. So when I say buy the deals only, that's exactly what I do now. So what I do is I let the deals dictate my buy. So if I'm going to buy silver and I'm buying from like an online bullion dealer or even an LCS, I'm seeing what the deals are at that time. And what I found, guys, is by only buying the deals, I ended up with everything I wanted anyway. I ended up with kookaburras and koalas. I ended up with, premium silver. I ended up with everything that I wanted, but I saved a ton of money by just buying the deals. So, don't rush it. You will get what you want. Buy the deals, okay? Focus on buying the deals. And there's a topic which is a lot of people talk about, which is buying as close to spot as possible, which we're going to talk about here in a second. 2, here's another issue or thing I wish I did. I wish I set a ratio. I started stacking nothing but silver because I'm planning to play the silver to gold ratio, guys, and I do think it is going to close from where it's at now. Like it's in the 90s or 80s, I think right now. 80s probably. And I don't think it's going back to 16 to 1 or anything like that, but the plan is if it drops down to 40s or 30s to 1, then you trade out some of your silver into gold, and then you end up, and that's only gold plated, and then you end up with more gold than you would have in the first place. But, caveat, I wish I still started accumulating some gold while I was accumulating all the silver. So my recommendation, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is just what I wish I did, is to set a ratio and get some gold. So say for every 100 ounces of silver you get 1 ounce of gold. Or maybe it's for every 100 ounces, you get 1/10 ounce of gold, right? I think there should just be some sort of ratio that you set for yourself so you end up accumulating some gold, whether it's whole ounces or 1/10. Oh yes, never tell anyone to buy fractional gold. It's a ripoff. You get scammed. Oh, it's so jacked up. Yeah, for the most part, yes. But if you buy the deals, that's not necessarily true. And if I can buy gold and I can get 1/10 ounce coins for the same price or cheaper than a 1 ounce coin, I'll get the 1/10 ounce all day because they do carry a premium because they're fractional gold. So set a ratio. 3, pace yourself. And you want to remember that this is not a race, guys. It's not a race. If you're stacking gold or silver and you've got probably 10 ounces or more silver, you're probably ahead of 99% of the population out there. So don't panic. Don't freak out. Pace yourself. It's a race. It's about consistency. It's not necessarily about buying 200 ounces right now and then, oh, then I need this, that. No, just pace yourself, set goals, work towards those goals, achieve them. And then also to capitalize on dips. So I'll have a budget every month when I'm buying gold or silver, what I'm planning to spend. And that doesn't mean on day one I go to dump my entire budget. I'll look at the market, see what it's doing. If silver or gold is trending down, I might wait a few days. I might wait a week or 2 weeks. But if there's ever a dip that's when I'm buying my gold and silver. So either A, I'll spend my money consistently over the month on the deals as long as there's no dips or anything. And then 2, if there's any dips in the market, then I'd probably dump my entire budget into that dip. The whole goal here is to get a low cost per ounce. It's called dollar cost averaging. So usually when you pace yourself and buy over the long term, it kind of equalizes. But if you buy hard into the dips, if you get that opportunity, you'll drop your overall dollar cost average. Now, people have seen my full stack video, I'm sure. If you haven't, check it out. I've got a ton of high premium silver. I've got a ton of poured silver that's over $20 an ounce, $23, $24 an ounce. And I right now have 5,514 ounces of silver. And my cost average per ounce, including shipping, this includes coin capsules, everything, is $18.46. How in the world can an international stacker with all this high premium silver have a dollar cost average of $18.46? Because I followed Rule 1 eventually. Once I learned my coal lesson with Morgan's, I followed my rule and I only bought the deals, and I'm at $18.46. Slow and steady wins the race, folks. 4, there's something called FOMO. That's really big in actually the stock market. It stands for fear of missing out. Now, I've definitely felt that fear try to creep in, and I saw everyone's huge stacks, and I was watching Silver Slacker. He's one of my big YouTubers I first started following, and kind of made me think, hey, maybe I should make my own videos. Thank you, Silver Slacker. But it's like, man, they get all this silver, oh, I'm gonna miss out. And then I started looking at gold and silver, and I started looking at market corrections and all stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get it now. So I was like buying super hard. Now, do I still think that there's issues coming in the market? Yes. Do I think there's financial and economic hardships coming? Yes. And I am honestly stacking as hard as I can into that to end up with as much as I can before that happens. But I'm not letting it be driven by fear. I'm letting it be driven by intellect, not emotional, by logic. If you do that, you'll stay out of trouble. If you let FOMO take over, you're going to charge up credit cards, you're going to do this or that, or take a loan, or you're going to overextend yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, buying gold and silver, if you sell it immediately, unless it's an epic flip, you're never going to make the money you made on it. You're going to lose out. So the last thing you want to do is buy some of this and then a month later have to sell it back because you overextended yourself. Avoid the FOMO. Avoid anything that makes you want to make a bad decision. I would not be putting gold and silver on credit cards or anything like that. Just set yourself a budget, pace yourself, and you'll do fine. One thing too is a lot of people say that they buy as close to spot as possible and they end up with a ton of generic rounds. I do have some generic rounds, guys, but the thing you got to remember, if you go to sell generic rounds, people are going to want to pay you spot. LCSs are going to want to pay you under spot. If you get things like Silver Eagles that have a premium, if you walk into most LCSs, they're going to give you $1 over spot or 50 cents over spot. For that. Also, too, if you have higher premium coins like Germanium Mint, you can flip them. So a lot of people see me unbox like Germanium Mint or some high price, like maybe some poured silver. But if you time the market right, guys, and you know what you're getting and you do some homework, you can make your stack grow itself naturally. So I'll buy high premium silver like Germanium Mint or other stuff, and I'll use it to flip it to make more money, and then I get more of this silver. You know, I stack more weight. And me, I prefer coins and Morgans and Constitutional and maybe silver, generic silver, but it's got a brand name like Engelhard, you know, or Johnson Matthey. And again, I find that I've been able to buy that stuff, waiting for deals, ending up with a ton of higher premium silver that's is going to be easier to sell, and even a bunch of silver I've been able to flip. I recently put out that alert on that American Enhanced Silver Eagle, bought it for 70 bucks, I sold it for 700. That's a 10x return, more than 10x. The Palladium Proof, if you guys remember that, made $1,000 on that coin. So if you watch the market, you time it right, you can make your stack grow itself. You can make your stack grow itself for free, and that's an amazing thing. Final one on the list. Do not sell to an LCS. Now, there's a couple times I've taken some coins into an LCS thinking, oh, can I flip this and flip it into this or that? And for the most part, no, you can't. LCSs might buy hype coins if they're super hyped, but for the most part, you are not going to do well if you sell to an LCS. If you take your silver into an LCS, they're going to want to pay you at spot or under spot for a lot of things. I've seen it firsthand when I'm in LCSs, people getting under spot for gold and silver. It's not that they're evil, you see the evil face, but they've got a brick and mortar store, they've got costs they got to cover, so they're obviously going to get the best deal they can. But if you're not in a pinch and you need to get rid of your gold and silver, you can do it on eBay. But remember, folks, eBay has fees that go up to like 13, 14%. And if you do a certain amount, you're going to pay taxes on it. 2, you could do it in apps like OfferUp and Let Go, but that can be dangerous, guys. There's a higher chance of you getting robbed or something going wrong. So if you're gonna do something like that, make sure you do the exchange at a, like you can do them at police stations now. Some police stations have a special parking area just for transactions. What I find works better than and safer than that is private buys over Facebook. There's multiple Facebook groups that are closed. You just apply to get accepted in. And there's a ton of gold and silver you can buy there at spot. You guys, I got a bunch of I got Morgans and all kinds of stuff in these groups. They're really good. And they're fairly safe because what happens is in the group, if you're going to make a transaction, you post, hey, I'm going to buy something from this person. Can anyone vouch for them? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I bought from them. Everything was fine. This, that. But if you're doing private buys and buys and private sales, because this is about selling, you can move stuff on these groups super quick. You can get the money super quick and put it out. But if you're buying on any groups, if you're ever buying private, you need a way to test the silver or gold. So that's why I have this Sigma Metalytics Verifier Pro. But I realize not everyone can afford that, a $1,400 unit. So there's little tricks you can do to make sure gold and silver is real. So make sure to watch those videos and get yourself familiar with that so you don't get taken to the cleaners. So anyways, guys, just to recap it, buy the deals. Don't end up with a pocket full of these like I did. Set a ratio. Get yourself some gold the whole way up. Guys, when I first started stacking, gold was so much cheaper. Dang it. But at least I started getting gold over this last year. 3, pace yourself and try to capitalize on the dips if dips are happening. Remember, it's not a race. And remember, when you have your money to buy gold and silver, it's not immediate. You don't have to buy it instantly. You can kind of watch and see what the market's doing. 4, don't have fear of missing out, but be logical and look for opportunities to, yes, buy as close a spot to possible, but try not to get generic if you don't have to. If you have the same price on a Morgan silver dollar and a generic OPM round, you want the silver dollar. If you got it on some coin from a country and generic, you guys get what I'm saying. And then don't be afraid to flip, guys. Don't be afraid to flip. And I said I wouldn't buy things on credit card, okay? The only time I ever buy stuff on credit card is if I'm buying stuff from like the mint and I'm gonna flip it, or if I'm buying some early release on a credit card. And I do that with the understanding is I'm gonna carry this debt for as long as it's gonna take me to sell the coin. When I sell the coin, I'm gonna pay that debt off and then I'm gonna use the excess to buy more gold and silver. So be logical. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, do not sell to an LCS unless you have to, because you're gonna take a hit. And you know, if you ever had to sell, all you got to do is email somebody like International Stacker or put a video on YouTube, and I guarantee you there's a ton of people in the community that would want to buy gold or silver from you. And usually what happens, I've done YouTube deals before, is there's an intermediary. So it's a person both people trust. That person sends them the money, the other person sends them the silver, and then it's a exchange. Anyways, guys, you know, I don't have to use an intermediaries myself because people trust me. So it just depends. But if you do use an intermediary, make sure you really trust them. Otherwise, they could ride off in the sunset with the gold and silver. So that could be crazy. All right, guys. Well, I hope you liked my top 5 mistakes that some of them I've made and I've seen other stackers make, and I've seen people upset having to sell their stacks on eBay. So or private sales. So I don't want that to happen to any of you. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll say catch you on the next one. me take a sip of this coffee.